All right, we are back. Internet is working. Let's go to BOE.
And the draft is running, and before that, I have to actually tell you something, because you know when we were talking about cake and I was trying to come up with that name, I screwed it up in English and in German.
Okay, what is it?
It's Black Forest cake in English, and it's Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte in German.
Black Forest cake?
Dude, it's insane. How
really?
do you not know that?
No, like I hear Black Forest and I think of Black Forest ham.
That's mind-blowing. Okay, but the problem that I had, my mistake was I translated from the English into German, so I screwed up the German name and the English name at the same time. But it's a Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte.
Okay.
It's awesome. How can you not know that? They even have ice cream from it.
I mean, I'm down to try it, man. Let's do it. I like some Black Forest
Tim,
cake.
you need to get out more.
Okay, let's try it out,
I
man.
told you should visit in Germany. The food alone, my friend.
They gotta have it in America. I don't have to go to Germany for a Black Forest cake, I hope.
America has the fake American copy. It's not the same.
I mean, we might not be the best at having the original content, but
you
we're
are the
good
best
at
at
copying
burgers. I give you that.
Our burgers are pretty dominant, that's
yeah,
for sure.
burgers here are pretty good. I agree.
Well, Hanzo banned out, so that won't be something that our teams have to worry about. Zealots definitely want that Hanzo. They're thinking about their ban here.
Leftovers already banned Hanzo in the first game, and Zealots are actually the one that banned out Garrosh. So we've been talking about this a bit after the last game, what happens to Garrosh and also who takes Sonya. I'm not sure if I really agree with Malfurion as a first pick at this point. If you ban Stukov, yes, it's a different story. But if Stukov is still up and you have the choice to take one of the two, I don't think you really want to start with a Malfurion pick if Sonya is open.
Even with Tracer on this battleground, though? This was the original place where Tracer got pulled up on BOE.
You actually make a really good point. I didn't consider the Tracer setup. I would have even thought about picking Tracer first then, though. But yeah, you actually make a good point. I mean, I've been talking about this when Battlefield was chosen, even saying that Tracer is it's a great map for Tracer. But I was so focused in my head on Sonya that it slipped my mind. But yeah, at this point, if Tracer is now being picked away and you have Stukov with her, I would at least make sure that I get my hands on Sonya with this.
Okay, so we're thinking about our second and third pick here. ETC, something that we have to come back to again, especially on this battleground for Lauber. Can be a strong pickup just for the reasons that we talk about all the time. BOE stun picks up, power slide in, and stun them up. And Li Ming comes out too. So Leftovers having a great draft so far for comfortability, but also for this battleground.
I would have really liked to see Sonya. I think we're going to see a ban on her now. But I would have loved for them to leave maybe ETC open and then try to get ETC later. If Zealots take it away or pick it, then go into a different tank. They already shown Muradin. We've seen Johanna being played from them. I understand why they take ETC, and it's not I think it's a horrible pick, but with how dominant Sonya was so far after the rework and how well she was played, I could have definitely seen Leftovers to say, okay, we get Sonya, we have the pressure against the Immortal, together with Li Ming, we have kill pressure, reset pressure, we have the solo lane, and now they probably whoa.
Ban on the Medivh.
I think that's really risky. We've seen so much Sonya play, and she has been absolutely fantastic in the last couple of days. And Leftovers are saying, okay, we can absolutely play around her. We have no problem there. But so far, Zamni has really put in the works on that hero.
It's kind of a choose your poison type of situation, though, right? Like, you know that Zealots don't mind running a double support composition on BOE. Pseudo double support, too, if Medivh can fit in that form. And they can force the engages when they want. So you have to choose between the two, and it feels like Sonya.
I mean, there's no literal right or wrong here. You have to really think, okay, what do we struggle against the most? What do we identify as the problem in our opponent's composition, and then try and react to it. It's just that I think the impact that Zamni had was pretty impressive, and that's why it would worry me. He literally was one of the big reasons why so many team fights towards the end were won by Zealots on the last map on Volskaya, just simply because he got the drop on Malfurion. He got the attacks in with a Poison Spear. And Zealots immediately pick Sonya now as they get the chance.
And Tyrael comes back out to play. Shield, Signification, being able to force fights when you want, full dive available here for Zealots, especially with a silence on top of that. Zealots just got a scary draft.
Exactly. Zealots have now the extra shields for Tracer. They have Sonya for aggression. They have a great solo lane. They have Stukov for silence as well. And that is especially going to make it difficult for ETC, I feel. This is the map where Lauber in particular had a lot of problems staying alive against Method because they were able to play a lot around Vision and they always jumped on him. And once that you have that lurking arm in play, it's going to be really rough for ETC to get out of those spots. And then Tracer can jump in. If a Spear connect from Sonya, ETC is going to have a hard time getting out of these spots.
Now we're looking for a little bit more damage here for Leftovers.
First of all, Blaze for the top lane. Are we going to see that now? Was banned out in the last game as we saw that set up?
I wonder, because we've been seeing less Blaze against Stukov, because of the silence that can come after a bunker comes in, but it looks like Leftovers believe that is their best chance here to move into it. And then we get the Maiev as well to try and contain that Tracer and Sonya.
Yeah, so Maiev again on the later end of the draft, so most of the teams are starting to go away from a Maiev ban or pick priority, but still included in the drafts here. With Blaze, they have at least some defensive tools that they can use now. And we've been talking quite a lot about the Tassadar as an option for Zealots, on this map in particular. Now they go for it, and I am terrified for Leftovers.
The Chris and Zarmany show, basically. Everything picked afterwards is to make sure that this team is set up to be successful. Tassadar shields coming out. Tyrael shields popping out as well. Sandification if you want to go on a target and jump on top of it. And then you have Stukov, just to land that big arm to make sure to silence everyone that comes around to even contest that area. This is pretty darn terrifying, and I'm wondering how Leftovers is going to control this.
Me too. Leftovers have a few things work in their favor as well. A power slide into a root, an immediate combo from Li Ming, and then Maiev also darting in can really deliver the kills. But once we're coming into a 5 versus 5 team fight setup, I think it's going to be extremely rough. Since Zealots have now, they have the poke, they have a lot of insta-kill pressure, they have the silence through Stukov as well, and I'm personally really scared. Sonya alone is already scary. If you have a lurking arm underneath her, she starts to engage and spin into it, and then a shield from Tassadar, then you know you're in trouble. So this is really the one thing that worries me a lot. I think the draft that Zealots has is fantastic, and Tracer, Malfurion, no Malfurion, should have a great time here.
We'll see if Leftovers can find a way to win here in BOE against a draft that we know Zealots are very strong with. Game number 3 coming at you, and there's a chance that Zealots can end this series.
And the game is on, and this could be the last game of the series as the Leftovers are down 0-2 in the best of 5. To the left, Maiev, played by Blake Hitney, Lelauba on ETC. We have Poryboss on Blaze, DAB on Li Ming, and Linked on Malfurion.
On the right side of the red, Zarmany playing Sonya, Shad on Stukov, Mopsio playing Tyrael, ADRD on Tassadar, and Chris pulling the Tracer out. And he was quite successful with it at the Western Clash.
Yeah, an absolute terrifying setup that we currently see for the team in red. And so far with Tassadar compositions, Zealots have been insanely successful. They played Tassadar 10 times and they won 7 out of those 10 games. So AD absolutely on point on the Tassadar plays, the double support setups that they prefer to run on maps like BOE. Very powerful for them. And they are going to look for these kills, for Chris in particular, diving into these backlines with Shad playing Admiral Gonzalez here. So Shad is the reason why Stukov, or one of the reasons why Stukov is all of a sudden this high up in the meta. So we have the original Admiral now in play, and let's find out if he can deliver.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of my concerns here. I was like, well, Leftovers, they're able to find a way to get Maiev on top of that. Stukov, you can get the ETC power slide afterwards. They could definitely kill him, get a couple resets and go forward. But Shad has been on point with Stukov for the last couple of weeks, and his positioning has been pretty darn good as well. So that will be a difficult task for Leftovers. And speaking of difficult tasks, Zealots have set up a flank here to the top to maybe stop Maiev here, who has started grabbing the siege camp.
Yeah, that looks like a problem in the making. Tyrael is already making his way over as well. Zarmany is here too, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, look, there's a Maiev. She jumps out, but that, of course, does not change the fact that the cap just got stolen.
That was the exact voice comms from Blackney. Oh my god, there's a Maiev, and starts to run away. All right, well, they get the Impalers. They'll be pushing in the top lane. And here's the thing, too, is Leftovers didn't start to war on the south, so they just have to lose out on this trade and clear it up.
Yeah, there's the engage. It was a good engage, but here's the problem. Silence comes out immediately, and what looked like a cool engage for Leftovers starts to turn against them. Now, Zarmany found himself also in a bit of trouble since there was an immediate damage burst against him, but it really showed that even with the ETC engage that we saw from Lauba, they were not able to get that kill against Tracer here. So nice moves from Shad once again. And I think this is just going to scale into the late game so well for Zealots that I'm really terrified for Leftovers.
And Zealots are doing a really good job of making sure that Leftovers can't do anything sneaky behind the scenes. We had Tyrael scout that bottom left mercenary camp too. Tassadar constantly with that Oracle, just keeping an eye on them. They have not been able to move over to a mercenary camp at all. And because of their constant scouting, Zealots are allowed to grab their own. Tracer and Shad in the top right already working on it.
That move at the top, by the way, did not work out for Mopsio. Now, he threw Ruins out, and the idea was to grab the orb before he jumps out. The problem is it took him so many hits to get that minion down and grab the orb that in the meantime he lost a lot more hit points than if he just would have jumped out to begin with.
Just Tyrael things. Think that you have Eldruin, you can one-shot a minion, and you realize, wait a minute, it takes like 5 hits to kill that thing.
Yeah, exactly. So at the bot lane, one camp taken. Zarmani is just double checking, but he can't do anything about it. Rotation wasn't fast enough for Zealots, so at least leftovers get a bit of pressure onto the lane. Level 4 has now been reached by both teams, and that means that Sonya with her battle rage has again the added pressure towards mercenary camps. That's where we're going to see Zarmani a lot in this game. Of course, also the slight power spike, there we go, for Tacita that he can utilize to keep Tracer in play and get her a bit more aggressive. But AD already is low, so he needs to be cautious here. Leftovers have done actually quite a lot of work with that push at that bot lane that they initiated with that double camp.
Personally, I think Tacita deserves to have Power Slide. You know, it's one of his abilities. I think that'd be worth it. Constant poke here already on this bottom lane, clearing it out.
Look insanely funny.
It would look insanely funny. Mopsio pushing the top lane pretty well. Labra will be able to clear that up pretty soon. He doesn't have Echo Pedal quite yet, so it will be annoying, but he'll be able to deal with that. Meanwhile, the Immortal is up and available, and Zealots have already gotten a slight lead here as they poke down a little bit of damage here, but Black Nikki looks to mitigate that.
I'm really interested in his Maiev play. We've only seen it once, and that was yesterday against Method when they played on Sky Temple, and that was not a good map for Zealots. Not his fault, but he got demolished there, as did the rest of the team. It was a very unfortunate game for Leftovers, but I want to see if he can have that impact that he's hoping for with Maiev. I mean, she has been a huge priority in draft for a long time, is now starting to fall off a bit, but if Blakidney can get some pressure in, that would be fantastic for them. Talking about pressure, Tracer is down, Maiev with a kill, Zarmani also low, and everybody's on the run here. Everybody for the Zealots is just trying to get out of this spot, whereas Blakidney is looking to see if he can get the cooldown up for his tether again and then drag someone else in, but Zarmani is still able to walk away from it, and that should give Leftovers a lead in the Immortal fight.
A great pick there by Leftovers. They were feinting as if they were trying to all-in the Sonya and trying to take her out. They got her down to about half health, and then at the last second, they made the snap decision call to turn around and power slide the Tracer. Chris, not realizing that, gets picked off, and he recalls into danger. And Leftovers, with that pick, should be able to get this Immortal going in their favor.
Yeah, they have level 7 now also in the hands of Leftovers, and that again brings us back to Calamity for DAB. He is insanely strong on any kind of carry hero, and now with Liming and the reset potential, that's of course what he's hoping for. We still have at the same time with the level 7 power spike on Stukov within my reach, also a great tool for Shat that he can now use to get into a better position for these fights. And Leftovers, they have taken the lead in the Immortal fight, but they haven't reached the halftime show yet.
They have not reached it. It's close, but it's still looking to poke. Zealots doing their best for defense already, though, with Mopsio here and Zarmani pushing that top lane. Maiev will have to head over and start defending, and Chris has built a pulse bomb, so Leftovers will have to play safe and stay near their Immortal to make sure that no one gets caught out and gets blown up. Yeah,
nice pressure here against ADRD. He doesn't even use his though, no-dimensional shift being utilized, and that again triggers an attack by Zealots onto the Immortal. We have the attempt to lock someone down from Leftovers, but it is failing over and over again. And this is starting to become a problem because the Zealots are all of a sudden taking nearly a lead here. At least they've equalized the hit point count.
Luckily looking to force a fight. Polyboss goes for the jet propulsion, but misses completely. Mopsio gets locked down here on the left, but with the sounds coming out, he should be able to escape. Chris steps up and gets a couple of auto attacks on a few members, but Leftovers still feeling pretty healthy there. Problem is, Link is starting to get low on mana.
Yeah, Maiev is also focusing on the Immortal again, and as you said, mana is going to become a bit of a problem, and linked on Malfurion has to be especially careful, especially since Sonya's now moving in. Does miss the spear though, as DAB reacts immediately, and now it's once again time to just poke from a distance. Polyboss gets the bomb here, at the same time without the bunker, he has no tools to survive, but what about Tracer? Tracer herself is low, Chris is getting the shield though, as AD already saves him, Blakidney in trouble, but so is Zarmani as he's a bit too far out, gets tethered in, and that's the counter kill against Sonya.
All the save buttons went on Chris to keep him alive, and they did just that. Sadly, Zarmani, though, being a little bit too far out, had nothing that could come his way due to shields going over to Chris, so he falls a victim. The rest of Zealots, though, tap and go straight for the Immortal, and it's going to come down to a race. So far, it looks like the Leftovers are going to be able to win it, and they don't. Just barely here, 295 health over to Zealots.
Leftovers thought that they could actually race it down, and they tried, but Zealots, they have too much burst potential on this part, and they were able to claim the Immortal. It's Immortal without shields, but that's still really annoying for Leftovers.
Yeah, was it a pulse bomb dropped on there? Like, how... I know the spear.
I mean, it wasn't a pulse bomb since he still has it not quite up yet, or just now, so it didn't use it, but... Sonya also didn't spear. I'm not quite sure what exactly. Maybe it was just like the storm that came offline, or a melee attack from Tracer. But whatever it was enough to just push him over the edge there.
Incredible. Poison Spear and Sonya a little bit strong there. Able to get a little bit of damage. Gonna have Mopsio taking a bit of pressure, but he's able to Eldruin out. Polyboss comes in for the flank. He'll hit Tracer. Tracer able to zip away as Mopsio continues to escape this 5-man pressure play.
The Immortal also has been burned down quite quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it has done damage, don't get me wrong. So we've at least seen them get down, take the walls apart, and also the fort down to half health. We have now, with Battle Rage, the passive increase against Mercenaries. We see now Zarmany taking another camp quite easily. Experience on both sides have now put them into control of their level 10 abilities, and this is where the real game, so to say, starts. This is where Sanctification can be a big game changer. Stukov again with a Lurking Arm, and of course his shove on level 10. But yeah, team fights are going to be super interesting, especially the question, can we get a good mosh pit from Lauber? Because that's not going to be easy for him with Stukov being part of this equation.
Yeah, the massive shove coming out there, the silence being really annoying. Sonya can even interrupt it there with a spear. Leftovers pushing down here with the Mercamp, but that gets cleared up pretty easily. That top lane continues to be an annoying fight. Hang on, Lauber gets hit with a Pulse Bomb and a Silence combo. And ETC, that health point that you pointed out in the draft, just not enough there. Too much damage coming out, and Leftovers have to escape.
And that's what I'm worried about, because we talked in the draft about how ETC is going to be pressured with a Lurking Arm and then the burst damage that comes out. But in that example, we even mentioned the Spear of Sonya connecting on top of it as well. That wasn't even the case here.
No.
It was just a really good slow and a Lurking Arm coming out that didn't allow him to use any of his defensive tools, and then the immediate attack. And we see the same thing happening again. Li Ming killed with the same setup. Shat goes in, gets the slow, gets the silence, and then Chris alone is already enough to get these kills. And this is going to continue even more so once that we have Sonya in those mix, where she can get the Poison Spear and gets a quick smash. And without any kind of panic button, I think it's going to be really rough for Leftovers to defend against that.
And that's why Shad is one of the best Dukovs we have here in HGC Europe. He actually set that up, coming in for a flank, dropping down the slow, getting the sounds, and giving Tracer the free kill. Incredible to see there as Zealots start the Immortal race again and immediately have the halftime show and are in the lead.
Yeah, and Zealots now are in an absolute commanding spot again. The momentum at least in their favor. They don't have a talent advantage yet, but Leftovers are already forced to defend here, and that's not a spot they want to be in against Tacita, for example. Like, that poke alone with Storm can just get so annoying, and he doesn't even have access to his level 16 yet. So we see Leftovers moving a few heroes over to the left, DAB with combos, and Maiev on the point as well. But it's getting to get a really weird race, since also at the top lane the camp is pushing in favor of Zealots. And here comes the spear and the immediate slam against Lauber, and he's already on half HP.
Boss goes in with the jet propulsion, does drop down the fire here on the back right, slowing down a few members, while Zarmany's putting a little bit more auto-attacks in the back left. Lauber goes for an engage on a stump, but nothing connects. And ADRD will pop the Archon, turn around and drop a few auto-attacks.
Lauber is low, goes for the mosh pit, catches one, but the Sanctification counters it immediately. The Warden Cage is in play. Vault of the Wardens also used into the range of the bunker. Great play here in this case. Good setup. They're trying to burn this down now and get maybe a kill so that they can defend their Immortal, but Boss is insanely low. Barely heals himself, moves out, but Zealots are in full chase now. And Chris, of course, is just hoping to get a kill here. DAB is low in mana, low in HP. Maiev moves in. Here comes the Vault of the Warden. The kill! The double! They get Stukov and Tacita, but Maiev also falls, but Leftovers. What just happened?
The Twilight Dream follow-up into DAB getting resets. He's starting to be low on mana. He goes for Chris. Chris able to recall it out. The Night Camp is still pushing the top lane, but Leftovers with that tether into an engage. Malfurion getting that root just enough to allow for Li Ming to come in with a couple calamities and get the kill.
That was actually really impressive.
They didn't even use the Twilight Dream. I thought they had pulled that up, but they didn't. That was just fully a tether into Li Ming and the rest of Leftovers chasing correctly.
It really looked as if Zealots was just about to clean up the entire team one after another and chase them down. And I was just waiting for Chris to get a Pulse Bomb again so that he can start that progress, and it didn't work out that way. So great turnaround by Leftovers. Now we still have to put that into perspective, of course. They still lost the Immortal. They now defend against it here at the bot lane, where the keep is taken, well, doesn't take any damage, but the wall at least exposes it. And the top lane fort has also been lost because we saw that move with the camp.
Let's take another look here, Calidor. So we have the tether that comes out, and Link come over here on the side, able to poke a little bit and drop down the root. And then we have Boss and DAB going in for the fight, getting 2 kills right away. Lauber finishes up with a power slide on Zarmany, and eventually they'll be able to turn that around into another kill. They even attempt to get Chris here, but a good recall let him live.
I think what impresses me the most from this is really Blake Kidney saving DAB there, because the pressure was on Li Ming at that point. And it looked really as if Li Ming would fall first, and then all of a sudden we see Maiev coming in and making all the right moves, tethering them in, getting the damage in, and allowing for the setup. And now we have some momentum for Leftovers. So they get this additional kill against Tacita down here, and are once again in full chase. But that was a fantastic, the last one was really a fantastic fight, and Blakitny with a spectacular move. Once again, the tether and the kill against Stukov. Great play here, not only by Blakitny, but also the immediate follow-up from ETC. And of course, this setup down here is the ideal setup for this combo. If you have a linear fight, you can drag someone in, ETC gets the power slide, pushes the target back, and pushes the target into the Liming combo.
Yeah. There's nowhere for you to move. Malfurion puts a root behind you, so you either get tethered and get pulled in, and you're going to be killed there. If you back up, you're going to get killed afterwards as well. It's a checkmate position the leftovers are putting on Zealots. Now, with that all being said, Zealots have had a chance here to relax and spawn all the members up. They're about to have Shad back on Stukov and come at the right point here for an Immortal phase, which is spawning in about 15 seconds.
Experience is the same. Both of the teams will hit level 15 now. And we have a 5 versus 5 setup with all the cooldowns being available, with the exception right now of the Twilight Dream that should be up in another 25 seconds. But this is definitely going to be a massively important fight for the leftovers. They've lost both of their forts. They need an objective to start coming back into this from a structural point of view. And once they take structures, they will also take a commanding lead in experience. We have pretty much a bit of a reverse going on of what we have seen on Volskaya Foundry.
Now we do have Sonya in the top lane. Getting that pushed out there with that camp that's pushing in. Blaze will come in to defend, and leftovers take the opportunity to poke their Immortal down a little bit. Zealots have not actually had a chance here to jump on the Immortal, so for the first time in this game since the first Immortal, leftovers are able to grab the lead first.
Yeah, they get a slight lead here and burn down the Immortal on leftover side down to 15,000. We had Liming defending the, Tracer defending the bot lane, and the Blaze defended the top lane against the camp. But now this is really the moment where you, first of all, fight for level 16 talents early, and to see if you maybe even before that can burn down the Immortal. And that's why we see leftovers being that aggressive towards the Immortal with all the poke that they can muster right now.
Even trying to get Potty Boss not stunned with that Poison Spear. Not quite hitting. Poke after poke after poke as Potty Boss is dropping down a few of those Flame Strikes. Gonna have Linked dancing around here on the Immortal side, just playing defensively.
Maiev is currently taking the wave at the bot lane, and they're actually going for the structure. They want 16. This fort would mean 16. And then they can go in with the talent advantage. Immediately Zealots is trying to burn down the Immortal, but the 16 talent is so close, it just didn't get it through the structure. They need 1 or 2 minions, and Zealots already have it because they had that experience lead. But there it is. 16 for both sides, still a tiny lead for Zealots in the Immortal pressure, and now, of course, the opportunity to go in. And 16 is so important for ETC in particular. Showstopper is going to help him to survive these engages.
Stukov just used Silence there, trying to land a target and maybe get that root, which allows for leftovers to now come in for an engage. They power slide Zarmony. Same time, a root pops out in the back left. Mopsio gets caught in it, but he's just fine. Bletnicki goes in, looking for a tether, and finally gets it. Zarmony pulled on in, but it's not enough, as Zealots continue to chase back the leftovers.
And Tassadar has the double storm now, and he's using it the entire time, softening up the targets already. Look at Potipos, he's on half HP. Here come the poke against the Immortal, and leftovers are constantly on retreat here. They're looking for an opportunity, any kind of chance to tether someone in, get the power slide, and then the combo off, but it hasn't really shown itself yet. They're looking for it though. They want this one kill, this one opportunity to go in here and drop a target.
It'll be easier to do it now. Wrath is down for Sonya for about 20 seconds. Lauber continues to hold the front line in the middle of the map.
And at this point, once again, Lauber looking for a kill.
Mopsio holding that bush here, dodges out in the combo.
Ling passive, really in the back here. He needs to be careful of Tracer.
Zarmony looking for it, gets a little bit of a slam there on Lauber, dancing back and forth. We're so close.
Zarmony needs to be careful. If Lauber sees a chance, he'll go for the slide.
Watch out for the Snorkel though. Tassadar can be in a spot to, at any point, spot a target that's behind a wall.
Malfurion is actually sneaking to the left, trying to top his mana pool off again.
The top wave is actually pushing too. There's a big minion wave there. Zarmony popping the Wrath, goes in and starts hitting the Immortal.
Zealots is trying to go for it. They're trying to burn it down, and Ling just back to business.
Here comes a combo. At the same time, there's a silence, and boom! There goes ETC.
Sanctification was absolutely perfect here, but Shad the counter kill. He goes down, a 1-for-1 trade, and the fight is just going to continue here as Zarmony spin to win, trying to keep himself alive. Blakitny is low, and he goes down. Maiev eliminated. 80 already in Archon form is going for the Immortal, and that's where Zarmony engages again with a quick spear, trying to burn it down, but Portibos, DAB, and Link still on the defense.
And Zealots completely dodge out in the jet propulsion. They continue to poke down the Immortal, and they were massively behind this Immortal phase, but because of great posture and being able to poke slowly with that Tassadar and then find the kills, they are able to take the Immortal.
And it's that sustain that we come back to. The shields from Tyrael, the shields from Tassadar, and all those heals from Stukov. It's just so difficult to engage into this. And the longer the fight lasts, the more value the double support setup gets.
And now they're looking to get a little more value. With this Immortal pushing in the top lane, this wall broken down earlier by the minions, only a turret standing. Zealots aim to please as they push and look for a keep. Lauber and crew doing their best to hold that front line, and with all 5 up, they're at their best defense possible.
And Zamani the entire time is spear smash, trying to drop whatever he can here. They're going for the fountain already. The Immortal is on the keep. The keep is going to fall. The question is, will Leftovers be able to defend their core? They need to make sure that no one falls, or Zealots will try to go for the game.
And Shad's joined up here with Zealots to keep them nice and sustained here. There's going to be the bunker into a Warden cage as well, as they're going to be able to look for this fight. Actually, the Warden cage not popped up just a tether. Mopsio is able to escape. The Warden cage is still here. There it is, finally. Zarmi will get caught in it, but the massive shove to keep a target away.
And Zamani is trying to go for it, but Lauber at the same time also engages back into the fight.
The root?
Drag into the root. Everyone low on Zealot's side, but the double support is keeping them alive, and the shields of Tyrael. Silence comes out, but he doesn't hit Chris.
Chris able to dodge out on the Twilight Dream, and that means Zealots are going to go forward. They put their foot on the gas pedal, and they move in. Mopsio drops Sanification. They look for Linked as well. He's able to drop down a root, but suddenly now the core could be in trouble. It's down to 70% already.
That's the kill that we talked about. The shields are gone, and the core is being rushed down. Lauber goes in, trying to prevent the worst, but again, the Tyrael explosion could also deliver the final hits. It's not even needed, as we see Zealots going in, confirming the kill, and that is a 3-0 victory for the Zealots.
We've been talking all weekend about how Leftovers grow the team, but we have to talk about Zealots. The last month and a half for them has been a growing adventure to the point where they are starting to be a dominant team here in Europe. Absolute control, absolute patience, and of course posturing around the objectives net them a win there. They find a kill and they push forward and get the core to secure the 3-0.
It was really well done, and we talked about it as the Immortal was in play, that if you get that kill, you can go for the core. It was an attempt from the Leftovers to turn it around and see if they can confirm something here. It was actually a very nice approach. Even the Mosh Pit nearly took out Tyrael. They nearly used that opportunity, but he jumps out, he gets the shield from Tacita, is alive, then the focus shifts to Sonya, and Zamani keeps himself sustained throughout the entire battle, can turn around and drop especially Blaze, of course, extremely low. That nets them a kill, and as the shields are already falling on the core, they just deliver the final few hits and now take the series without even dropping a map.
We can actually check out that last team fight and see exactly how clean it was between both sides here, as it looks like we have it ready to go. So let's go ahead and hop into it. This is them pushing into the keep. Shad just joins the team from respawning, and we're going to have the fight between them. Ponyball steps forward and drops that Pyromania, but watch for Bletnicki here. He goes in and gets that tether.
ADR was so low and nearly got blown up at the beginning, but at this point we have the Sanctification already. It's still on the cooldown here, so that can be used just a few seconds later. The bunker comes in. They're still trying to see if they can maybe get a kill here. Blake Kidney with the Warden's Cage. They go for Zarmony. The shove comes out, and that alone was already great heads-up play. Look how low Mopsio is. He had like no hit points at this point, just because of that Mosh Pit attempt with a kill, and they just can't confirm the kill, even here, as they're putting him back into the root.
Now watch Chris.
Tries to go for the kill, but this is just a cleanup.
Chris goes in and sees that Twilight Dream coming out, able to recall it, and the moment that Twilight Dream misses, Leftovers knows they're in trouble and they have to pull away. And at that point, it's too late. With the Sanctification coming out and Chris stepping forward, they're able to get the kill on Ponyball.
Yeah, and then they can go for the core. The Immortal itself has already dropped the shields earlier in a few hit points, and that's where Zealots just simply clean it up.
Great play there by Zealots, getting that 3-0, and we have Mopsio here from Zealots to talk about that match. Mopsio, nice blanket. Welcome to the HGC, man. You feeling a little cold today?
Oh, definitely. The spring is not hot enough.
Well, you know what is hot? Your guys' gameplay, securing a 3-0 over the Leftovers. First game in game 1 and game number 2 felt like Leftovers matched you guys a little bit better, but in game number 3, you guys kind of pulled ahead there. It felt like your control continues to be on point.
I think the draft from Leftovers was really good, and I think individually and as a team they stepped up a lot. And we need to mention that when we watch about their play right now, because they got a lot of our mistakes, which we didn't get punished before. And the last draft, we just pulled out what we played the best, and I think we just played better this time.
I want to ask you about that. It seems like you guys have really hit your stride. What has been the moment for you guys to say, you know what, we're a top-tier team? Was it your victory against Dignitas, or was it your performance at the Western Clash that has really put you guys in a spot where you're feeling much more confident?
It's hard to tell, really. Like, we planned to be one of the top teams when we got the roster, but we knew it's going to take a lot of time because we went through the inside changes, let's say.
Sure.
Like, for example, I shot call a little bit less, people have more responsibility in the game and the stuff like that. And also, it comes up that we finally get what we wanted, what we planned since the beginning.
Awesome. Well, over to Caldor. Thank you very much, Mopsio.
Congratulations to the victory. Look good today. Quick question: is that a Zealots blanket?
Of course, look at how beautiful it is.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was wondering about that when I saw the green because we couldn't really see it on camera. So yeah, I like that a lot. Let's talk a little bit about you in particular. You told me at the Western Clash that you want to play Garrosh and that it doesn't always fit, but you're really trying to convince your team that it's a fantastic pick here. So you guys played with Garrosh at the Western Clash. All of a sudden, he popped up all over Asia at the Eastern Clash, and now we have him as the main tank in the meta. Is that something where you say, I showed people how strong Garrosh is, or do you think that would have happened anyways?
I don't think I can really show people how strong Garrosh is because my heroic win rate is about 30% on the hero. So I think
I'm not quite sure
it's a
that's
really
your
good.
fault.
It's a really good team play hero, definitely, and that's something we need to work about. But I think what's really strong about this hero right now is that double support meta is off, and there is a lot of blow up comps, and Garrosh fits it a lot because he's very difficult to blow up, and he can set up a combo, get a lot of CC, and also very important thing to mention, cleanses out of the game because Uther and Rhaegar are not that good as they used to be, so you cannot save the target, which gets CC'd.
Let's talk a bit about the blow up against heroes that you talked about. You said that's in general a bit easier. We saw actually that Garrosh is benefiting from him being really tanky. We had an approach from Leftovers on Volskaya where they were trying to play with Malthael and around the cooldown of last rites to put a lot of pressure onto you at that front line and try to confirm a kill. And that worked good at the beginning, but later off, Shat really did a great job saving you with a lot of shields and kicking the Ancestrals out. Do you think that's one possible way to, in general, how you could now try and counter a Garrosh draft, that you try to play with Malthael and last rites and try to get these blow-ups and resets?
Very important thing about the Polskaya draft we need to mention is the support ban. Basically, they banned Stukov and secured Mal for themselves, so they forced us to pick the support which is not having too many good AoE heals. So it forces the support to be in a little disposition in this case, in my opinion at least. And it's difficult for Shot to, once we finally got our synergy after the horrible early game. But in general, in my opinion, I think it's pretty difficult to approach Garrosh right now. And I think in order to do it, you have to just simply draft around him. But the team comp which Leftovers had in Volskaya considered two of the heroes which can poke super randomly, like Liming and Junkrat, and I think that's a very good approach.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, great games today. You guys had 2 victories here at the weekend, so I hope that you have that success throughout the season.
Well, next weekend,
Thank you.
You'll be facing off against Method, who right now seems to be in a slump. They've even admitted that themselves. And with you guys being on a hot streak, do you feel like that matchup is going to be an easy win for you guys, or do you think it'll be a close matchup?
Talking about our future matchups, it depends a lot on the magic coin we flip before every single series. And once we get a good coin flip, I think it should be achievable. But I think Method is really a wildcard team at this moment. Like, okay, they're in a bit of a slump, but they still have the 1 week to recover and get their previous strength back together to beat us. So it's hard to predict because European scene is so stuck. Everybody wants to go to the mid-season brawl, and the bottom tier teams want to get out of the Crucible. So everybody is like trying their best to secure the wins.
I want to quickly follow up on what you just said because I'm not quite sure right now. So you said that the magic coin that you flip, we've seen that from a few teams that say we don't know which team shows up today if we're playing completely spot on or if we have a problem. Is that what you mean, or are you talking about who gets first pick and who gets map pick?
There is no coin toss about the first pick and map pick anymore. So
yeah, not in the league.
I
but
guess
like
it's about our performance coin.
Okay, so it's just completely okay, how do we play? Because we've seen a lot of the coin tosses at offline events, and that was always a big discussion that was going on. So you think that you are not consistent enough yet to show that, do you feel that you are not consistent enough as a team and that that's something that you still have to work on?
I personally don't believe that's an issue anymore. I felt that there was an issue for the first 3-4 weeks, but we start getting our basic synergies together like almost perfectly. with some setups and other stuff like that. But I still think we have a lot of room to improve. And if we improve on those points, we should be the team which other teams should be scared to face.
It sounds
and
to
right
me,
now, it's not that.
It sounds to me like you're talking about an any given Sunday type of approach. The mentality of like, okay, are we here to show our A game versus our B, C game if we're not completely hitting our synergy? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Well, so it looks like if you're a fan of Zealots, make sure to send them your luck for the lucky charm, their coin flip to be on point. Before I let you go, Mopsio,
Make sure to use this.
Make sure we look at your awesome Zealot blanket there. It is beautiful. I kind of want one myself. Any shout-outs from you?
The thing is just too big.
Of course.
It's
I
horrible.
think this blanket is really good, and I think the logo here is very beautiful, but I think we should swap it soon, so feel free to contact us at Zealots Hots. And I hope that some of the organizations are watching as well. And a huge shout out to them. And of course, shout out to our fans. Because we suddenly got a lot of fans after Western Clash.
Deservedly
a lot
so.
of new fans. So big shout out to them. We all deliver to make you happy, guys. And we are happy when we deliver as well.
Oh, what a wholesome moment there. Happy to deliver the good moments here. Thank you so much, Mopsio, and congratulations to Zealots as they get a 3-0 victory over the Leftovers. Pretty decisive, and I'm looking forward to their next match, man. They seem to be just striking the iron while it's hot.
Yeah, and I also like that he talked about how he feels they still have a lot to improve, even though they are currently doing really well. And we heard that line with flipping a coin quite a bit, and our next team that we have, they talked about that also pretty extensively, since Tricked always feels like they don't know which team shows up. Market talked about that in the past, where he's like, we don't even know. Like, we start the first game, we're like, okay, are we absolutely on fire today, or are we just slumping? And it's like, oh, look at that. Today we are apparently good. Let's win the series.
Well, we'll see how they perform, as we'll be coming up with that match pretty soon here. It's going to be Tricked Esports versus Diamond Skin after this commercial break. This is the HGC.
So the smarter move would have been to, again, think maybe about moving Blakidney into the middle. There's no fort there, so it would have been a bit risky, but he could have tried to go for the interrupt. The taunt is there, by the way, as we see Lauber thrown in, and again, no chance for him to even use Avatar. So this is a huge problem. They have finally level 20, but now they defend with only 4 heroes, with no real tank against the Zealots, as they are starting to go for the first keep, and Linked is just way too far out here and goes down right away.
Back out!
Blakidney is still alive. Where's the healing pulse? Not being used by Link just yet. The fight is still continuing here. Last Rise has not been used yet. They're still looking for a target. They're finding it, and they get the kill. Sonya is down, and that is stack number 2. Malfurion dies. The counter kill is there. Zealots are fighting back, but Maiev is in trouble.
The poke continuing to come out from Junkrat, and Podibus is leading the charge here. Mopsio is the only target left with the wave of force. He is thrown to the back left corner, and that's going to be 3 and a 4th as DAB goes in for some popping off with Calamity.
And with those assembly lines, it is a little bit harsh. Already, here comes the engage. Second turret comes out. Iron Skin has been popped, and he has the flip as we have Blakidney in trouble, and he goes down. Junkrat is dead, but the counter kill against Garrosh could be there. Malthael is dead, though. And that's a 2-for-1 trade now in favor of Zealots has lost. So engaging into that battle and not immediately like moving away from it, that could have lost them the game here. And they are forced into a fight they don't want to fight. They try to get the counter kill as Malthael falls, but yeah, Leftovers have definitely overstepped pretty quickly here. Chase now, and Chris, of course, is just hoping to get a kill here. DAB is low in mana, low in HP. Maiev moves in. Here comes the Vault of the Warden. The kill! The double! They get Stukov and Tassadar, but Maiev also falls, but Leftovers, what just happened?
There's Zarmi popping the Wrath, goes in and starts hitting the Immortal.
Zealots is trying to go for it. They're trying to burn it down, and Linked is back to business.
Here comes a combo. At the same time, there's a silence, and boom! There goes ETC.
Sanctification was absolutely perfect here, but Shat the counter kill. He goes down, a 1-for-1 trade, and the fight is just going to continue here as Zarmani spin to win, trying to keep himself alive. Blakidney is low, and he goes down. Maiev eliminated, 80 already in Archon form. Make sure that no one falls, or Zealots will try to go for the game.
And Shad's joined up here with Zealots to keep them nice and sustained here. There's going to be the bunker into a Warden cage as well, as they're going to be able to look for this fight. Actually, the Warden cage now popped up just a tad there. Mopsio is able to escape. The Warden cage is still here. There it is, finally. Zarmi will get caught in it, but the massive shove to keep a target away.
And Zarmani is trying to go for it, but Lauber at the same time also engages back into the fight.
The root?
Drag into the root. Everyone low on Zealot's side, but the double support is keeping them alive in the Shields of Tyrael. Silence comes out, but he doesn't hit Chris.
Chris able to dodge out on the Twilight Dream, and that means Zealots are going to go forward. They put their foot on the gas pedal, and they move in. Mopsio drops Sanctification. They look for Linked as well. He's able to drop down a root.